Hello everyone, I'm X's Horizon involved in HiFi RD, also a 30-year music enthusiast and audiophile. Today it'll focus on one main topic. What topic? It's about Soundaware's D1, released 5 years ago. Why is the D1 15th anniversary being launched? Soundaware players have three types. One is the D2 solution, uses a high-quality custom industrial-grade motherboard, yes, industrial-grade custom motherboard, plus HiFi grade noise cancellation series. That's PAL-name PA3 noise cancellation for D2, making it completely fanless, a totally silent chassis solution. This is the first solution. The D2 scheme uses a custom industrial motherboard with HiFi methods, linear power supply, custom BIOS, and noise cancellation to solve noise issues. Latency is managed with custom BIOS and OS. It achieves HiFi sound quality. So that's the D2 scheme. The D2 has the strongest performance. There's also the D2 Pro and the current D2 limited edition. It's available for over 9,000 RMB. Yes, over 9,000 RMB. During 618 or double 11, you can get it for over 9,000. Very high value for money. Then there's the D2 Pro, the 10,000 RMB. D2 Pro. The second solution is the down scheme. The down scheme is different from D2. It's a HiFi motherboard solution. This HiFi motherboard was co-developed with another manufacturer. Its motherboard can be fully HiFi optimized. After modification, it achieves HiFi quality. Why can it achieve this? It's 33V and 18V power supplies. The true I/O power is fully HiFi optimized. Others like 18V, 1V are low noise. So its noise is suppressed, very low. Thus, its output noise is excellent. It doesn't need any PAOA, achieving great results. And it uses a high quality, truly native ATX power supply. ATX supplies power separately, 33V, 5V, 12V plus, a dedicated USB power circuit. Actually, it has 5 separate power rails. Remember, ATX has 5 independent power rails. So with a HiFi optimized motherboard, it can be linearized. Thus, it delivers good sound. Cooperation yields good sound. Why this solution? Because self-developing an x86 motherboard is extremely costly. At least 12 million RMB, often several million HiFi can't bear such RD costs, honestly. Also, x86 motherboard production, the issue. Generally, x86 motherboards for companies making them, usually a production batch is 10K to 20K units. I can tell you directly, even for small factories, small x86 makers require at least 10K, 20K units per batch. Otherwise, cost control is impossible. Costs are very high, and for every few thousand, less cost rises significantly. If you produce 500 units, the cost is outrageously high. So x86 RD has two problems. First, high RD investment. It's the Everest of hardware RD. Difficulty is absolutely Everest level, usually 812 layers. Yes, PCB is 812 layers. With multi-layer HDI wiring, CPU alone has over 1,000 pins. DDR has tens, hundreds of pins. Therefore, its difficulty is extremely high. That's why motherboard companies can go public. The complexity justifies it. That's the reason. So we adopted a second approach, co-developing with another manufacturer. The first solution, co-develop a HiFi motherboard. The third solution is the D2X. D2X is Soundaware's self-developed HiFi motherboard. So a self-developed HiFi motherboard takes much longer than co-development. Because co-development requires connections. I can tell you it requires connections. It's not that I want to cooperate and they agree, they make you a HiFi motherboard. No, you need volume commitments. Only then is it possible. Plus, whether their board can be HiFi optimized is uncertain. So the third approach, doing ourselves, self-development allows deeper optimization than co-development, the D2X scheme. But self-development has an issue, high cost. As said before, high cost, high RD cost, high production cost. Therefore, the third solution results in a higher price, also due to its RD cycle. For Soundaware in HiFi RD compared to others, our RD might be good, but compared to consumer x86 makers, our resources are relatively few, very few. With such limited resources, Developing an x86 motherboard takes us maybe while they take over a year. I can tell you consumer x86 boards take over a year from start to finish. Soundaware might need 35 years. So for the D1X scheme, technically the chip tech is slightly behind. Performance is weaker, but its sound optimization is the strongest. Therefore, it's excellent for audio. However, if you want video 2 or HQ player or i5, i79 level running room with tens of TB, the D1X definitely can't handle it. I tell you directly, can't handle it. It's designed purely for sound, extremely compact, a highly optimized solution for sound. Soundaware's self-developed board is purely for sound, not for maximum performance. For hi-fi playback, if you don't need high performance upsampling or tens of TB, it doesn't need that much power. Our ARM quad-core 1 GHz can run DSD 256, so it doesn't need such strong performance. Therefore, the D1X scheme is all about sound, all about great sound, a solution for playing very high quality sound. That's the origin of Soundaware's 3 solutions. Now some say the D2 limited edition, but seems a bit weak for my high demands. And the D1X seems too weak if I want higher performance as well. Is there a solution between these two? That would be the DUN. The DUN CPU is stronger than D1X about 130. Stronger CPU is roughly twice as powerful. Look, D1X CPU is 192G. DUN is 24G quad core. So it's higher, significantly higher, plus it's 12 generations newer. So performance is about 130 stronger. Roughly 13x to 15x CPU is 13x to 15x stronger. That's the first point. Second point, its RAM can go up to 16 GB, while D1X maxes at 4 GB. Therefore, the DUN has upgrade potential. Why no new DUN model in 5 years? Mainly because the motherboard we originally co-developed with ASRock, their board could be modified, but ASRock's newer boards can't be hi-fi optimized. And I checked all partners, x86 motherboard makers, found none can be hi-fi optimized. The reason, see the DUN design, why that board could be optimized. So that DUN motherboard became discontinued, but these boards are still available. Many brand new stock units can be bought. Precisely for this reason. Well, use the original DUN motherboard. Applying D1X technology for comprehensive upgraders though. Launched the DUN 15th anniversary. It sits between the D2 Pro and the D1X. It has performance close to the D2 Pro in sound, approaching the D1X, a relatively balanced solution, a commemorative 15th anniversary product. Okay, please stay tuned and follow for updates.